Okay, I wasn't actually going to say this because I didn't think that many people would care about the first film we'll talk about, but spoilers. Alright? Spoilers. I will talk about something or things, if you like, that may consider spoilers. And before you start typing in the comments, no, it won't be for, because I want you guys to go and see it for yourself and experience it like any other. Okay, that's not entirely true, but you know what I mean. Geostorm, I'm going to talk a little bit about because I really can't explain the whole fucking situation with the movie without spoilers. So if you want to go and see it, which I highly recommend you don't, then go see it and then come back. But if you don't care about spoilers, then sit back and enjoy the fuck out of this. That's all. I just wanted to get that out of the way before we move on. Are we alright? Okay, let's go. Hello, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Clinton Zonica. Welcome to another My Thoughts On and another double review. Isn't that something? I didn't think we'd go this far, but here we are. Today we're talking about Geostorm and Thor Ragnarok. You can tell which one I liked and which one I didn't like. I'm not going to say which one because it's pretty freaking obvious. Also, you might want to take a shot when I say that. I'm probably going to say a little bit in the first review. The first one, of course, is Geostorm. I wasn't looking forward to this movie. I thought it looked bland, generic, even though they're both kind of didn't mean the same thing, but I'm just trying to think of other words that's going to make it sound even more boring. Yes, the movie is very boring, but trailer didn't help. The posters looked alright, a little controversial, but the only thing that really bothered me is that they look too similar to Inception. I'm not going to go into detail, but just type in Geostorm poster, Inception poster if you like. And I'm not just saying that because they're both owned by Warner Brothers. It has the same font, it has the same look, has the same visuals. It has the same, well, almost everything. Just take a look for yourself and tell me if you don't see a fucking resemblance to Inception. The poster, not the movie. Because this movie is not Inception. In fact, I'd rather watch Inception than this movie. Sure, Inception was a little confusing, but at least have a clever concept, and it's a really good movie. And this one has none of that. I'll tell you why. It's predictable. Right? I just need to get that out of the way because everyone should be expecting this film to just be your average disaster film. That's all I can say about that. No. Right, let's get into the movie. Start with the plot. I'll explain as best as I can because I really don't remember much because I forgot about it. As soon as I walked out of the Cineworld door. I'm not making this up. It's about Jake Lawson, who is portrayed by Gerard Butler, a Scotty E, who is a inventor who invented this machine that has a nickname that is really stupid, but I forgot about it. I won't say it now because it will take all of the review for me to think about it. But if it pops into mind, then I'll say it. But for now, I think it's just yeah. I'll tell you what it is in a moment. But he creates this machine that controls weather. Something goes wrong. He has to go up there and fix it. There are other members up there as well. A love interest, a annoying British actor who's looks like a youngling, and all that. Down in Earth, his brother Max, played by Jim Sturglass. I think that's how you pronounce it. Or just Jim. I'm just going to call him Jim. He's down on Earth trying to get to Jake Lawson, who's actually his brother. And he's trying to tell him what's going on up there. You're going to try and fix it or something. Again, I don't remember because this movie is forgettable. But all I do remember is that he's trying to hit on another character who is actually working with the president, who's helping him. Let's try and figure out who wants to control the weather. Yes, there are villains in this movie. oh boy, it's going to be fun, isn't it? So he has to help him, they have to solve it and all that stuff. And apparently there's a Chinese guy in there, there's a hacker as well. Yeah, this movie is just fucking bad. Already this film is predictable. You know what's going to happen, you know how it's going to go down, you know for a fact who the villain, who's not really a villain for the most of the movie until the third act is. When I say he's not a villain, I mean he is, but more like a hidden one. You know what I mean? Jesus Christ, execution is awful. I know what you're thinking. It's a disaster film. It goes by the numbers. Just let it be. Okay, fine. There are films that are predictable, but I really like The Mummy. Even though it was a slightly confusing movie and a lot of people didn't like it, I liked it for what it is. It's supposed to be like a cheesy popcorn movie. I know the Brendan Fraser one was one too, but I forgot about that movie. But this one's trying to be serious, but I'm too busy having fun. Say what you want, but I like it. It's not perfect. It's better than Baywatch. Actually, Baywatch is another good example too. It's predictable, sure. It's at least it's self-aware. At least it's know how stupid it is. I'll give it that. This movie, it has a little bit near the end, which I found kind of funny. Only for the reason that it thinks it's self-aware, which it is, but not much of it. That's actually one of the few things I've found a little funny about the film. That's it. The rest of it, boring, boring, boring. Lots of talking, predictability, at its fucking finest. I hope you like dialogues, because this film has a ton of them. Jake is talking to his members up in the space shuttle. Max is talking to the love interest and the hacker who looks like Sasha from Tales from the Borderlands, even though I wish it was, because Sasha's a cool character, but still. You got Andy Garcia, who is the president, and Ed Harris as his secretary, Deckard. That's about it. There's not much to it. It's I can't think of words of how predictably boring this movie is. Like literally, I was trying to sit up. Normally in the film, I do try to I do sit up most of the time. I do try and hunch down a little bit. It's not because I was bored. It's just because I'm watching a film and I'm not focusing on what I'm doing, except eating and drinking. But that's besides the point. This one, I'm not joking. I never thought I'd say this for a film. I almost fell asleep. Almost. It wasn't because I'm tired, because the film bored the fuck out of me. Really. Have I ever seen a boring film before? I've seen a couple, and I don't remember. I'll try and think of the most recentest one. Oh yeah, The Great Wall. Yeah, that was a piece of shit too, but at least it actually looked... At least... Actually, I'm not sure what's worse. This or The Great Wall. Oh god, that's really hard. But anyways, yeah, it's really boring. It's predictable. It has subplots though. I know they're there, but you don't really care, really. You don't really care what's going on in the movie. You don't care about Gerard Butler. I don't care about anyone. I don't care about anything. So yeah, that's all I can say about it. It's boring. I didn't care. It was lazy, predictable. I just didn't care. Okay, effects, CGI, and cinematography. Next, let me get the bad stuff out of the way. When you see the storm, when you see the natural stuff going on, like a wave, sandstorm, rain, and what comes out of the sewers? Because I saw something. It was in the trailer where Chinese guy runs out in. Or was it Japanese guy? I don't remember. Japanese or China has got wind coming out of the sewers, something like that. Yeah, all that stuff, including plane as well. It all looks fake. It all looks cheap. But I guess that's what the film was trying to be. Just trying to be a cheesy film. This film was just trying to be like The Mummy. Except The Mummy was a slightly, I'll repeat that, slightly better film. But these ones just look cheap. They just look awful. I know you can't. I know using this sort of stuff would actually be dangerous, but try and make it look real. Alright? Okay, that's the bad stuff. The good stuff is when they're in space. It's atmospheric. It looks beautiful. The cinematography is great. It looks nice. Looks interesting. Even though I think Gravity does it a little better, and that's also a way better movie than this, but still, excuse me, that wasn't supposed to happen. But anyways, at least this actually looks interesting. At least this actually looks nice. Even though Gravity, and I can't believe I'm fucking saying this, Transformers Dark of the Moon. I wasn't going to say last night because we didn't go in space. It's all about nights. And no, I didn't see that movie because I had no interest, because Transformers in general is pretty fucking bad. Not quite as bad as this, but close. Transformers Dark of the Moon, because they have a little bit of spacemen going to space, but actually, I don't know. Actually, I think this film is a little nicer to look at than Transformers, which is just an eyesore, but still. Gravity did it better than both of these movies, enough said. But again, it still looks nice, still looks interesting. When they're up in space, that's when I keep saying to myself, I wish they were focusing on when they're in space than what's down there. Even though, yeah, you're supposed to prove a point, you're supposed to bring something that connects itself in the movie, but I didn't care that much. All I was in was just in the visuals and some of the acting too. But again, to conclude, the visual, some of the CGI looks cheap, but when they're in space, that's why I thought this looks great. Now let's talk about the characters. I'm going to talk about the one I thought who was not my favourite. Normally I would do favourite to least favourite, but this one, there's only one I thought that was just okay. Jake Lawson, played by Gerard Butler, who pretty much sounds like his character from Olympus / London Has Fallen. In fact, this will probably be a prequel or a sequel to that, except with a bit of Apollo 13 and Gravity to it, even though there isn't much Gravity to it. There's more of a Apollo 13, I guess. I don't know, but he's okay. He's interesting. He's perfectly fine. He wasn't terrible, even though in the film I did want him to die, and he lived. Yeah, he tried to sacrifice himself just to, figure out how to turn off the thing, but they somehow find a way to make him live. I wish he died. Not that I hated him, but it would have I would have been a little nicer to the film if it actually went that route. Sure, it's maybe predictable, but at least it was a little different and actually letting the guy live. Then I would have actually been a little nicer to the film. But nope, they had to make him live. Good job, movie. Max, who's played by Jim Sturglass, who I don't know who that is, looks like the monster from It Comes at Night, and that one villain from Spectre who James Bond kills off. I know it sounds silly, but I thought it might be a little okay fun fact I suppose to bring up, but hey, what do I care? He, again, like Jake Lawson, he's fine, but he's a little more annoying. I didn't really care much about him. Moving on. The love interest is okay as well, but again, she's not that interesting, I forgot about her. Andy Garcia is okay. He's on the film for long, so I thought he was tolerable. Ed Harris was generic. And guess what? He's the bad guy. Yep, and he was the one who wants to control the weather for reasons that I literally forgot. I forgot why he wanted to do it, and I'm not sure when. I mean, he could just do it now, but whatever. The members in the space shuttle, there's a love interest, I think. There's a British guy who turns against them for reasons that I, again, forgot. And he's also the most annoying one in the movie. And they're all others, they're just stereotypes. And then there's Gerard Butler's daughter, not his actual daughter, but his character's daughter, who's also the narrator, beginning to end. Pointless. We already know what the film's about. We don't need narration. Okay, there's maybe... I know most films do that nowadays. They have people talk over the film and tell you, oh, this is what happened. This is what this film happened. This is what happens in this film. This is who we're introduced to. And all that. I don't mind it, but sometimes you think, yeah, I already knew. Like, you see it before your eyes, before they tell you. We already know. And she doesn't, like, narrate in the middle of the movie. Nope. Beginning to end. It's fucking great. Characters, some of them are okay, some of them, but mostly they're really bland. Acting. Man, did they try. I'm sorry, but I didn't think the acting was all that great. And I feel bad for them. I mean, they're really trying. I like Gerard Butler, I like Andrew Garcia, I like Ed Harris. They're all very good, but here, the material that they've been given is not that great. I've seen them in better, sure, but still, they're trying. They're just not bad. But who is bad is Jim Sturkle, who I thought was annoying. The British bloke whose name I think is Duncan. Not the actor, the character. Yeah, it was Duncan. He was annoying as well. The chick who was in love with Jim, whose name I also forgot. She was bland. And the rest of the cast is pretty much who you expect. Not as in who you know, maybe that could be for you, not for me, but they're just bland. That's it. There's not much to it. So I guess you could say that Geostorm is fucking bad. And yes, it is. It's predictable, it has some cheap fucking looking CGI and got characters and acting that's just bland and just nothing special to them. I'll give it a little point for nice cinematography and looks great in space. Some of the Gerard Butler's character is tolerable. Most of the acting, at least most of the actors and actresses, if you like, are trying. But it's not enough to say this film is good. It's not. It's bad. And I'm going to give it a 3 out of 10. It's not quite as bad as the... sorry, got a cough. Emoji movie. But it's not quite as controversial as The Mummy. It is a little bit, but not quite. If you know what I mean. So now we've got the fucking worst one out the way. Let's talk about the one I really wanted to talk about because it's just so great. Thor Ragnarok. It is the third, and I think could be the last, but who knows, Thor movie in the Thor franchise. I should probably call it series, but franchise is more appropriate. But anyways, I've been looking forward to this movie. Because it has like this Guardians of the Galaxy style to it. Where they go to different planets and it has like an 80s vibe to it. Even though Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2, I might add, it does it a little better because it's self-aware. This movie does a little bit as well, but that's not the point. It's been getting great reviews. Even better than the first two. Because the first one had like 79%, which is good. The second one had like 66%, which is not good, but it's okay, I suppose. This one. 95%. I'm like, wow, really? Hopefully this will be better. And I was right, it's better than the other two, and I really, really liked it. And I'll tell you why. The plot. So it's about Thor, played by Chris Hemsworth, trying to stop his sister, who is the main villain of the film, named Hela, who's played by Kate Blanchett. And then his brother, Loki, played by Tom Hiddleston, comes along in the journey as well. They make it to, I think, Ragnarok. That's where they're going, because they have to save Asgard from Hela. So they need to get some help, but Thor ends up in the arena fighting against the Hulk, played by Mark Ruffalo. And then they come across Jeff Goldblum, they meet up with some other characters, even some returning ones as well. There's a cameo from Stan Lee and one from Benedict Cumberbatch, aka Dr. Stephen Strange. That's not a spoiler, it said it in the... it's not really a spoiler, it's really obvious actually, because if you've seen the film Doctor Strange, there's a after credit scene where he's talking to Thor. And that's all I'm going to say, so I can make it a little bit clear. Good plot. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Because I'm just trying to remember, because I haven't seen the first film and the second film in quite a bit. In the first film, it's just your average Marvel movie, but at least it's good for the most part. Thor was interesting. I remember he was likable. I remember some of the characters were fun. The second movie, they developed him a little more. But the second film felt full flat with questions that haven't been answered. And in this film, they answered it, some of it, which I'm happy, but not enough. But still. There are some subplots here and there. You get to look back at some other characters, like, for example, Loki and Thor in Ragnarok. You cut back to Hela. Is that Kate Blanchett's name? The character's name? I think so. And then you get Carl Urban, who is the secondary and also the most pointless character / antagonist in the film. I'll get more into that. And Hulk's in it. He's in the good majority of the film as well, which brings the comedy and some of the emotional yet heart-wrenching moments as well, just a little bit. And they basically played this film off as a Captain America Civil War, except it's not Captain America or Iron Man, it's Thor and Hulk. I thought, okay, you know what, that's actually not bad. I think that's slightly better than what you could imagine from a film like this. It does it how Civil War did it, but except here they're not really against each other. They were, but they had to team up and defeat the villain. It's not a spoiler, it's actually obvious, but at least it's, fun. At least, it's good. Unlike fucking Geostorm. Right, so, yeah, not much to say about that. It's good, it's very well executed, got some very good laughs actually. They know how to have fun, they're self-aware as well, and it's touching as well. CGI, cinematography, and effects. Holy crap. And I thought Guardians of the Galaxy was the most colourfulest film series in the Marvel franchise, in the Marvel universe. It is, but Thor is close. From the trailers and from the posters, they look very colourful. They do. And the film is colourful for about 40%, I think. I mean, besides being colourful, it still looks good. It still looks like your standard Marvel film, but at the same time, it still looks beautiful. It still looks really, really good. Cinematography does help as well. The special effects on some of the monsters and characters look good, especially I'm not sure if it's made like a costume or CGI on Hela, but she looks good. Thor looks great. Hulk looks great. All of them look great. It hasn't changed. I'm sure it doesn't look quite as real, but Marvel's still improving with the CGI. I'll give them that. And that's all I can say about that, really, because there's not much to it. It has good stuff. Characters, of course, got to start with the ones I like the most. Let me start off with the one that I thought was great. New character. He's not a villain, necessarily, but still. The leader of Ragnarok, whose name I forgot, played by Jeff Goldblum. And he is great. I wouldn't mind him saying, in a film any day. Anytime really, but in the film, I think he said it a couple of times. I don't remember, but still. He's good fun, he's funny, he's slightly likeable, and interesting. Thor's great. I really liked him in this movie, a lot more than the other two, in fact. He's funny, interesting, you get to know a little bit more about him. And Loki as well. He's not just the betrayed doofus like the other two. Even though in the second film he does become more of a good guy. Here, he's actually more helpful instead of just betraying his brother because, he's the god of mischief. I'm thinking about Discord instead of Loki. But you get the point. He's like a... what's that character called? He's basically like the one god who doesn't take anything seriously. He just wants to... Sorry, there's something I'm like... Something's distracting me. But, he takes stuff too seriously and all that. Doesn't take it too seriously and all that. He's the god of mischief, let's just say. I can't think of the word, but that's the best I can describe. He's not the villain, but he's more like a betrayed villain, Hulk's great. Mark Ruffalo is still pretty great as the Hulk. Perfect as well. He's not in the film for that long. He's in it for about 40 minutes, which is just about half of the film, but he's towards the third act. A little bit second act, maybe. But he's interesting. I still like him. They explain what happened to him after Age of Ultron, which is also very, very, very good. But who else is in the movie? Oh yes, the villain Hela. She's great by performance and very interesting character. But her character herself is just an average Marvel villain. She just wants power. She wants to destroy Thor. That's about it, really. Speaking of a character that is pretty pointless, Carl Urban's character, whose name I forgot. He has an Australian accent and he has lots of weapons, including 2 M4 rifles. That's funny. But I thought the point of him is just to be like a supporting character. But no, he actually has to help the villain, and I won't say what happens to him because it may contain spoilers, but it's pretty obvious as well. Odin, played by Anthony Hopkins, is in the film. And I won't say what happens to him because that's obvious as well. Dr. Stephen Strange from Doctor Strange is in this movie. I did say he had a cameo in a story, but that's what it is, cameo. He helps him try to get to Odin and talk to Odin along with Loki. That's about it, really. There's one character that was in the other two whose name I forgot, but she's working with Goldblum's side in Ragnarok. The one who would help Thor, and then there's the one with the axe and all. The one with the axe. I don't remember. You'll know who she is when you see her talk with Hulk and. She does escape with Hulk and Thor. I won't say anything else, but you'll know you'll know who I mean. Who else? There's one other character that I think I missed out that I I actually don't remember that much from this character. Who was it? I won't think about it too long. I'll think about it very quickly because I swear there's one character I missed out. There's a group of like rock monsters that help Thor take down Hela. Well, that's one of them, but there's another one I'm just trying to think. Oh, what's his name? What's her name? What's his name? Oh, fuck, I forgot. Natalie Portman's not in this movie, if I might say that, because, second movie, but... God, I forgot. Oh, fuck. Oh, let me just check and see who was in the film. Because I swear I know this person. Let me just take a look. Sorry this is taking a little long, but I really need to see who that other cast member was so I can remember. Right, Tessa Thompson is Valkyrie. That was the one who I said escaped with Thor and Loki. Who was in the other two? I just forgot her name, that's all. Who else is in it? Oh yeah, Idris Elba, yeah. As Heimdall or something like that. But anyways, yeah, he's in this movie as well, like in the other two, and better performed than what I've heard from Dark Tower. I won't get into that. He's not in the film for long as well, but he's great because Idris Elba is very, very cool. Because he's Idris Elba. Acting, I don't think I really talk about the acting, because I did talk about half of it in the characters, because there's I don't know, actually, I don't know, actually, because it just needs to be pointed. Okay, maybe I should put the acting and the characters all in one, in one place. Like, after I talk about the CGI one, maybe I'll put in, characters and acting or / voice acting. But anyways, acting, it's very good. What else? What else do you need? That's all there is. It's very good. Chris Hemsworth's great. Tom Hiddleston's great. The new actors are great. Everyone's great. So, I guess you could say in the end that Thor Ragnarok is great. Better than Geostorm? Absolutely. It has a good plot telling. It has a good plot. It's interesting. The CGI, the special effects, the visuals, the cinematography, all that is fantastic. The characters are well developed. The new characters are funny and interesting and pretty great. Some of the old ones are good. All of the acting is very, very top notch. If you like Marvel, go see it. If you like the other 4 movies, go see it as well. If you just want to see it just because it looks fun, give it a try. It wouldn't harm you. It's not terrible. It's great. It may be okay for some. They may say it's the best or the worst, but it's up to you. Okay, so next it will be... I might do It Comes at Night, which I didn't see in the cinema, but it's one I do want to talk about because it's an interesting movie. And then Paddington 2 afterwards, hopefully, which I can't wait to talk about because I like the first movie, and I will get into more detail when I review Paddington 2. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, which is the most important one, if you didn't know by now. And until next time, bye for now.